Well, he did not vote for President Obama, but is Don Imus having a change of heart? I want to talk to you a little bit about President Obama. And I'm a little unclear whether you like him, you dislike him, you like how he's leading the country, you don't. I'm not quite clear. President Obama, what do you think?
I think he's fine. I mean, when he ran, I voted for McCain. But I thought, and I still think, that it's not the worst thing that ever happened to put a black face in the White House to show the rest of the world. And I thought it would be important for this country. I mean, I hate to employ this, what's becoming a trite phrase, race relations, but in terms of how he's doing and so on, I mean, it's just it reminds me of Jimmy Carter, except he's a nicer person than Jimmy Carter was, a mean-spirited little weasel. But I mean, there's not much not to like about him. I just don't think he knows what he's doing. But I'm not Sean Hannity or making or valued judgments about or intelligent judgments about how these people do it. It's not my job.
So when Sean or Bernie on your staff, or even Charles, are starting to talk about the socialization of America, or we're becoming Sweden, what do you think?
I get bored.
You get bored?
I get bored. That's not my job. My job is to comment on the freak parade. So, and he's part of it. So they're all.
You mentioned Sarah Palin before. Now you've had kidding references to her on your show in the past. You don't get mean about it, but she could very well be the Republican nominee in 2012. What do you think?
Well, I just think that's just a horrifying thought.
Why?
Well, I don't. She's a very nice lady, I'm sure, but she's a dope.
Why do you say she's a dope?
Well, she's just I don't.
She's coming out with a book.
Well, she can't read a book.
Now that's not right.
No,
that's not right.
I'm sure she is.
She became governor of a very important state. It's a big, big state.
There's 9 people there in a polar bear. What are you talking about?
There are not 9 people there in a polar bear.
She's fine, but I mean, McCain was idiotic for picking her, and she should have had sense enough. See, here's the thing, to be serious for a second. Here's what, in my mind, calls into question her judgment. She should have had enough sense to know that she wasn't ready for, to employ another trite phrase, prime time, because she wasn't. I mean, to sit down and not be able to get through an interview with that little rodent over there at CBS Katie Couric is absurd.
Did you just call Katie Couric a rodent?
Well, I was kidding, affectionate. She's a cute little rodent. It is
affectionate to call someone
like Minnie Mouse, say, for example.
Right,
not a rat, not a sewer rat in New York. So.
Yeah. Dan Rather was just...
By the way, that could have gone right by. The little rodent at CBS, and you didn't have to call attention to it.
Well, you said it.
No, I understand that, but the audiences, they're already thinking, what time is Beck going to be on? Well, they know, they're just wondering how long.
Dan Rather, I had him on yesterday, and Dan was saying that the media today has become this cabal of businesses, and you do anything... Cabal of business. There's all these guys, these business interests that are dominating news today.
Right.
And he was a victim of it.
Right.
That's what Dan was telling me. What do you think of that?
He's crazy. He's a nice guy, but he's insane. Go away.
Do you think...
Just go to Florida and put on a sweater and play bocce ball, or whatever the hell they do. No, it's over. Stop it. Stop the madness.
But do you think there's a truth to what he says, that CBS has wiped him off the slate as if he never existed there?
Well, because he acted like a lunatic there. I mean, come on. I mean, at some point when you work for these big corporations, whether it's News Corp or whether it's GE or whoever it's for, when you start to get so nuts that stockholders start complaining, and they start having board meetings and say, hey, man, I mean, do we need this? And the answer is no, we don't need this.
But that happened to you.
Well, exactly.
But is that fair or right?
Well, of course. I mean, you have an obligation if you work for like News Corp, or if you work for GE, if you work for CBS, to behave yourself.
Yeah, but GE didn't stand by you.
Well, they shouldn't have. Well, on what basis?
They should have fired you?
Well, I don't know about that, but I see that guy. But my feeling about all of that, and it always has been, goes back to if I hadn't have made the comment. And it's not important whether I was kidding or not. Obviously I was, but I think that's irrelevant. But then we don't have any other kind of conversation. So it starts there. It starts with the comment. So they get put in a position, in this particular case, CBS, so what are they going to do? So, I mean, with me, I mean, I fully understood that. It's probably what I would have done. I didn't see any way, considering the way the whole media firestorm and how it got so blown out of proportion, but I didn't see that they could do anything else that made any sense, you know.
Do you remember those who then suddenly abandoned you, though? I mean, Donald Trump was once saying, Neil, I remember every slight, and I never forget it. What about the people who then jumped off your bandwagon and then started kicking it?
Some of them, you know, but that's not a big deal.
You don't have names on a list?
No.
You don't have people who are forbidden ever to appear with you?
No, I have a good memory. I don't have a good list.
Oh, okay.
To be serious, I don't care.
Really?
Yeah, I don't care. You know, I'll tell you what, it was a life-changing experience when I went to talk to those kids, you know. And because, I mean, our job
is the Rutgers.
Yes. So our job is to make fun of people. But you have to be sure that the people you're making fun of deserve to be made fun of, and that they're public figures, that they have the means to defend themselves, and that in making fun of them, it's not some demeaning characterization, whether you think it's funny or not. It's your intention can be whatever you want it to be. In this case, it was to be funny, but they didn't think it was funny. And it put them in a position, well, they'd never heard of me, didn't have any idea who this old white guy was with a cowboy hat on, and why they're playing for the national championship, and why was I making fun of them? That was a good point. I talked to them, and I talked to their parents, and I talked to their grandparents. We were there for 4 hours. And
I stress you were talking to them after you were let go, so you know you were genuinely doing because you wanted to talk to them.
Well, I said I would do that.
Right.
So, but and so, you know, and there was discussions on the part of people who liked me and defended me, like Sean Hannity and many others, Opie and Anthony, all kinds of people.
Neil Cavuto.
And Neil Cavuto, yes. Well, fine. That my life should be put in context, and all the good things I'd done should also be considered.
Well, no, I didn't cite the good things because I didn't know of any, but I understand your point. But have you held back?
I didn't think that. I don't think the kind of person you are, or all the good things you've done in your life, entitles you to say whatever the hell you feel like saying about, in this case, these kids.
But have you held back since? Do you find yourself policing yourself more on the air?
No, I just don't. I do what I told those kids I would do. I would never say anything in the media again that would make them feel sorry for forgiving me and accepting my apology, and we don't make fun of people who don't deserve to be made fun of, and that was a mistake that I made. One, I picked a target that wasn't a fair target, and what I said wasn't funny. So whether that was the intention or not, so if we pulled back, we just don't do that. That's all. So we shouldn't have done that anyway. We didn't have a long history of doing that. People said I did, but that's not true. So.